You feel it right now, don't you? The steady tick, tick, tick of seconds slipping away. It feels like a river flowing endlessly from the past into the future. It seems like the most obvious thing in the world, but here is the catch. It's a lie. That sensation of flow is a biological hallucination, not a physical reality. If we peel back this layer, you won't just see how the universe works. You'll discover a place where the past never fades and nothing is ever truly lost. We have this picture in our heads, don't we? A river. The river of time. It flows from the past, rushes through the present, and disappears into the future. It sounds poetic. It feels true. But ask a physicist a simple question, and the whole idea falls apart. If time flows, how fast does it go? Think about it. A real river flows at, say, 5 miles per hour. That is distance divided by time. But how do you measure the speed of time itself? 1 second per second? That is not a speed. That is just the number 1. It is meaningless. It is like saying a banana is 1 banana long. It doesn't tell you anything about how the universe actually works. It's a cheat. So, if it is not a river, what is it? Let's try a different game. Imagine a deck of cards. You take the cards and you spread them out in a long, straight line across a big table, face up. The Jack of Hearts is here on the left. That is yesterday. The Queen is in the middle. That is right now. And the King is way over there on the right. That is tomorrow. Now look at the table. Nothing is moving. Nothing is flowing. The cards are just sitting there. This is the crucial difference. In the river idea, the water that flows past you is gone forever. But on the table, the Jack of Hearts isn't disappearing just because you are looking at the Queen. It is still sitting right there on the left. And the King? It hasn't arrived yet in your experience, but on the table, it is already there waiting. This is what we mean when we say, time is a dimension, not a process. It is a layout. The cards are the events of the universe. They are arranged in a specific order. Snap, 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 and one after the other. But the table itself is perfectly still. The flow, you feel, is just your brain moving its attention from one card to the next, like a little spotlight sliding across the table. But the table? The table is rock solid. The past didn't go anywhere. It is just down the line. You have to be careful with how you picture the universe. Most of us, intuitively, we imagine it like a giant stage, a massive, empty theater. The stars, the planets, the mountains, and you and me, we are just the actors walking around on this stage. And in this theater, we assume there is a clock on the wall, a master clock, and it ticks. Tick, tick, tick. Even if all the actors go home, even if the stage is completely empty, Isaac Newton believed that clock keeps ticking. He called it absolute time, a container that holds everything but doesn't care about anything. It just is. But here's the problem with the empty box. Let's do a thought experiment. Let's play a game of subtraction. Let's empty the universe. Get rid of the galaxies. Gone. Get rid of the sun. Gone. Get rid of the earth, the air, the water. Now, go deeper and take away the atoms, every single electron, every photon of light. Scrub it all out until there is absolutely nothing left. Just pure, perfect nothingness. Now ask yourself, in that total emptiness, does time pass? If you wait a year in that nothingness, is it any different than waiting a second? How would you know? There is nothing to move, nothing to age, nothing to change. There is no sun to rise, no heart to beat, no atom to vibrate. This brings us to a strange realization. If nothing changes, time does not exist. You see, time isn't the box. Time is what happens inside the box. Time is just a measure of change. It is the counting of things jiggling. Down at the very bottom of reality, atoms are vibrating, electrons are spinning, light is bouncing. Things are wiggling and snapping and moving. And if you could freeze every single atom in the universe, stop every vibration, halt every photon in its tracks, so absolutely nothing moved, time wouldn't just stop, it would vanish. It ceases to exist because time is the change. It is the counting of one state of the universe turning into the next state. No jiggle, no time. But you might say, I feel it. I know time is passing. I can feel the seconds ticking by. Do you really? Or is that just a story your brain is telling you? Let's try a little experiment right now. No cheating. I want you to close your eyes. Go ahead, close them. Now, I want you to count 60 seconds in your head. Don't count fast, don't count slow. Just count what feels like a normal minute. Open your eyes when you think exactly 60 seconds have passed. Go. Okay, open them. Here's the funny thing. If we were all in a room together doing this, it would be a mess. Some of you opened your eyes at 40 seconds. Some of you waited until 75. Why? If time is this absolute, steady river flowing through the universe, why can't we feel it the same way? It is because you don't have a clock in your head, yet you don't have a quartz crystal vibrating perfectly inside your neurons. What you have is a biological soup. It's chemistry. It's just atoms jiggling around in your brain. When you have a fever, your body gets hot. The atoms jiggle faster. Your metabolism speeds up. And suddenly, the world outside seems to slow down because your internal clock is running too fast. You think an hour has passed, but it's only been 20 minutes. Your brain is not a camera. It doesn't record time, it constructs it. It is a prediction machine. It looks at what just happened and guesses what will happen next. That feeling of a smooth, continuous flow? That's just your brain stitching together a bunch of messy snapshots so you don't go crazy. It is a survival trick, not a law of physics. You are measuring the universe with a ruler made of rubber, and you are surprised that the measurements keep changing. So, if time is just a measure of change, why does it always change in one direction? Why does the movie of life never play backward? We call this the arrow of time, and to understand it, we have to look at a tragedy. Imagine you are holding an egg, perfectly smooth, perfectly ordered. You let go. It hits the floor. Splat. It is a catastrophe. The shell shatters into 1,000 jagged little shards. The yolk spills out, bleeding into the cracks of the floor. It is a mess. Now, imagine if you saw that happening in reverse. The yellow goo gathers itself up from the floor. The white shell fragments fly up and snap together. Click, 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 sealing perfectly without a scratch. The egg jumps up and lands gently in your palm. You would laugh. You would say, that's a trick. You know intuitively that the universe doesn't work that way. But here is the thing that keeps physicists up at night. If you look at the atoms, just the tiny particles of that egg, there is no rule saying they can't do that. The laws of physics work exactly the same forward and backward. The atoms could theoretically jiggle in just the right way to put the egg back together. So why don't they? It is not because it is impossible. It is because it is improbable. Think about it. There is only one way for those atoms to be arranged to make a perfect whole egg. But there are billions upon trillions of ways for those atoms to be arranged as a smashed mess on the floor. Nature is a gambler, and she always bets on the big numbers. She always moves toward the mess. We call this entropy. It is the tendency of the universe to get messy. Now, this is the only reason you can distinguish yesterday from tomorrow. The past is the egg in your hand, ordered, low entropy. The future is the mess on the floor. The reason you can't remember the future is simply because the future is disordered. We are all just riding a landslide of probability, tumbling from the orderly past into the chaotic future, and we call that slide time. But wait, if we are sliding into the future, how fast are we going? This is where Einstein ruined everything in the best possible way. You think you are sitting still right now. Maybe you're on your couch, holding your phone. You feel stationary. But you are not. In fact, you're currently moving at the absolute speed limit of the universe. You're moving at the speed of light. I know, that sounds ridiculous. You aren't moving an inch. But here is the secret. You don't just exist in space. You exist in space-time. Think of it like a budget. Imagine the universe gives every single object, you, me, a rock, a beam of light, the exact same starting budget. Let's say you get 100 speed dollars. You must spend them all, every single instant. You cannot save them. Now, you have two things you can spend your speed dollars on. And you can spend them on moving through space, walking, running, flying, or you can spend them on moving through time, aging, going from yesterday to tomorrow. When you are sitting on that couch, you are spending $0 on moving through space. So, where does the budget go? You are forced to dump all $100 into moving through time. You're rushing through time at the maximum possible velocity. You're hurtling toward the future at the speed of light. But what happens if you stand up and start to walk? Now you're spending a little bit of your budget, say $1, to move through space. That means you only have $99 left to move through time. You have technically slowed down your motion through time. If you get in a rocket and go incredibly fast, spending $99 on space, you only have $1 left for time. Yeah, your watch slows down. Your heart beats slower compared to the people back on Earth. And if you could spend all $100 on space, if you could move at the speed of light like a photon, you would have $0 left for time. Time would stop completely. For a particle of light, birth and death happen at the exact same instant. So, sitting there, doing nothing, you are actually a time traveler moving at full throttle. This leads us to a strange and somewhat lonely realization. We intuitively believe in a universal now. We imagine that right at this instant, while you are sitting there is a specific, definite thing happening on Mars. We think of the universe like a giant layer cake, and now is a knife slicing through every galaxy, every star, and every planet at the exact same moment. But Einstein showed us that the knife is crooked. Let's look at a train. Imagine you are on a train moving incredibly fast. You're standing in the middle of the car. I am standing on the ground outside, watching you zoom past. Suddenly, zap! Lightning strikes the front and the back of the train car. To me, standing still, the two strikes happen at the exact same time. Snap. Perfect synchronization. But you are moving. And you are rushing toward the light coming from the front, and you are running away from the light coming from the back. The light from the front hits your eyes first. The light from the back has to chase you down, so it hits your eyes later. So I say they happened at the same time. You say the front one happened first. Who is wrong? Nobody. We are both right. This means simultaneity is an illusion. There is no master clock ticking for the whole universe. If you were on Mars and I was on Earth, and we were moving at different speeds, my now could include things that haven't happened to you yet, and your now could be my ancient history. We are not sharing the same moment. We are each trapped in our own private slice of reality, tilted at our own unique angle, never fully overlapping with anyone else. This leads us to the wildest idea in all of physics. If time is just a dimension like space, and if now is just a matter of perspective, then the distinction between the past, present, and future is just a stubborn illusion. Think of it like a movie reel. a physical strip of film. When you watch the movie in the theater, you experience it frame by frame. You see the hero get into trouble, and you get nervous because you don't know if he's going to make it. To you, the ending doesn't exist yet. It is the future. But imagine you are the projectionist. You are holding the entire reel of film in your hands. You can look at the end of the movie and the beginning of the movie at the exact same time. The scene where the hero wins is already printed on the plastic, sitting right there, and just a few inches away from the scene where he is in trouble. The future isn't waiting to happen. It is already in the can. It is fixed. Physicists call this the block universe. They picture the entire history of the cosmos, from the Big Bang to the final whimper, as one giant, solid block of ice. Every moment that has ever happened, and every moment that ever will happen, is frozen in that block forever. This is a shocking thought, but it is also strangely comforting. It means that the past hasn't vanished. We usually think of the past as being gone, erased like a drawing on a chalkboard, but in the block universe, the past is just a place. It is a coordinate. It means that 66 million years ago, the dinosaurs are still running. They are still breathing, hunting, and roaring. They aren't gone, and they are just over there at a different location in the time dimension, just like Paris is at a different location in the space dimension. Paris doesn't disappear just because you aren't standing in it, and it means that people we have lost, our grandparents, our friends, they aren't erased from existence. They are still there, laughing and holding our hands in the frames of the film that we have already played. They are safe, immortalized in the geometry of space-time, existing just as real as you are right now. We just can't turn the projector back. But you might stop me here and say, hold on. If the future is already sitting there, waiting in the block of ice, why is it invisible? If next Tuesday is just as real as last Tuesday, why can't I see it? Why do I remember the past, but I have zero memory of the future? It is a fair question. It is the most obvious puzzle in the room. And the answer is not about the stars or the galaxies. The answer is about you. Specifically, it is about that mushy gray stuff inside your skull. Think about what a memory actually is. It isn't magic. It is a physical thing. It is a specific arrangement of neurons, a chemical pattern, a scratch on the record of your brain. To create that scratch, to form that memory, you have to do work. You have to expend energy. And just like the egg smashing on the floor, creating that orders in your brain creates disorder, heat in the universe. This means your brain is locked to the arrow of time. It is an entropy machine. It can only form records in the direction of increasing disorder. Imagine you are standing on the back of a boat, looking down at the water. You can see the wake trailing behind you perfectly. You see the white foam, the ripples, the path you traveled. That is the past. It is visible because you disturbed the water. You left a mark. Now, look at the ocean ahead of the boat. It is smooth. It is blue. There is no wake. Does that mean the ocean doesn't exist? Of course not. The water is there. The rocks you are about to hit are there. The destination is there. But you cannot see the wake because you haven't churned that water yet. We are blind to the future, not because it doesn't exist, but because we are physically incapable of forming a memory of it. We are trapped in the passenger seat, looking out the back window. The landscape ahead is already built, mountains and valleys and all, but our biological headlights only shine in reverse. We mistake our blindness for non-existence. We think because we can't see it, it isn't there. But the road is there. It has always been there. So, if we are just drifting down a river of chaos, if entropy is always winning, why are we here? Why am I talking to you? Why are there trees and flowers and skyscrapers? Life seems to break the rule. Life is ordered. Life is complex. Life is the egg putting itself back together. How is that possible? It is because we have a secret weapon, a giant, burning ball of low entropy hanging in the sky, the sun. The sun is constantly pouring order onto the earth. It sends us photons, pure, concentrated energy. And what does life do? A plant catches that sunlight. It grabs a carbon atom from the air and a water molecule from the soil, and using the energy from that photon, it forces them to snap together. It builds a leaf. It builds a branch. It builds a tree. It takes the chaos of the air and turns it into the order of wood. But here is the trade-off. To create that little pocket of order, the plant has to pay a price. It has to release heat. It has to scatter other particles. It creates a little bit of order here, but it makes a bigger mess out there in the universe. And you are doing the same thing. Right now, you are breathing. You are taking in ordered oxygen and food, which is really just stored sunlight, and you are burning it. You're using that energy to keep your heart beating, to keep your brain thinking, and to keep your body from falling apart into dust. You are maintaining your own personal order by creating a wake of disorder around you. We are eating sunlight and exhaling chaos. That is what life is. We are little eddies in the river of entropy. For a brief, beautiful moment, we hold the chaos back. We stand up and say, not yet. We borrow time from the sun to build a memory, to love a person, to think a thought, and eventually, we have to pay it back. We dissolve back into the stream. But for this moment, this precious, fleeting now, we are the universe's way of defying its own decay.